Do you want to use a modern way to connect to your backend systems? Have you heard about OData? Are you using the Power Platform? Then this video is for you. Hello and welcome to this new playlist on SAP and Power Platform here on the SAP on Azure YouTube channel. In the previous videos, we talked about the different options on how to connect your Power Platform to an SAP system. We then spent some time to show how the SAP ERP connector can be used to connect to RFCs and BAPIs. In this and the next videos, we want to take a look at the next option to connect, OData. OData services are more and more used with SAP systems. If you are already using SAP Fiori screens, then you have used OData services. If you have developed CDS views, then you can easily expose them as an OData service. Or if you're running SAP S/4HANA, ECC with SAP Gateway, SAP SuccessFactors, and a lot of other SAP systems, you probably can expose OData services in an easy way. In this first video, we will take a look at a simple OData service and connect it from Power Automate. So let's take a look. Okay, in order to quickly get started, let's actually take a look at odata.org. On odata.org, actually, you can find a lot of reference services. And one of these services, for example, is here this services.odata.org. Although the Power Automate SAP OData connector specifically looks at OData services provided or exposed by an SAP system, obviously the connector, the SAP OData connector, also works with OData services. So what we'll do is we'll just give it a first try with this service. One of the benefits here is that this is really something that is available anonymously, so you can open up here this services.odata.org, and then this TripPinREST exposes here different entities. So there's a people, airline, airports, and me. And for example, if I go here to this people entry, then I can get a list of people. So you can see here the first name, the username, last name, gender, and so on. And you get a typically JSON response for an OData service. So what I can do now is I can just take this this service here, this root basically, and with this I head over to Power Automate. In Power Automate, I can just click on Create. I can create an instant cloud flow. We'll give it a name, first OData call, and I will just select here this manual trigger flow. Okay, this is actually the new V3 designer already. For my specific case, I'll just switch back to the V2 for now. Okay, and then this classic user interface, basically what I'll do is I'll add a new step and I search for OData. And you can see there is an SAP OData connector available. This OData connector exposes the basic functionalities that I can do with an OData service. So I can create, basically post a new request to this OData service. I can delete, I can query a simple GET request. I can read a specific entity, and I can also update, patch, or put data to the SAP system or to my OData service. For now, what we'll do, we'll just do a query. We want to query an OData service, and I need to select a connection. If you don't have one, I already have one in this specific case, so I'll create a new one. If you don't have one, this would be the first screen that you see. You have an authentication type, and for now we support basic and anonymous, and we are also extending this to also support a single sign-on via OAuth SAML. But for now, for this OData service from odata.org, I'll just select anonymous. Now here is where I enter the URL of my base OData service. So you saw in our call here, actually, here I'm already in the people entity. But if I go back here, you remember we saw people, airlines, airports, and me. So I'll just connect here to the root service. In our case, we don't need any API names, so I can just click on Create. Now that this connection has been established, again, we're doing an anonymous call, I can actually browse all the available entity names. So in our case, I can see here airlines, airports, and people. And for now, let's just start with people. I'll select people here, and I can click on Save. And now if I test this service, we're getting back the response from odata.org. So I can see here, these are the different people items. I have here all the items, so I can see here, let's see, there's best friend, all these properties here. I can see trips, and then here I can see first name, last name, everything. And then if I scroll down here, I can see all the different names that are there. So Clyde, and I don't know, all the properties coming back. Now you can see this is a fairly long list. Now the same is obviously true here if I do this directly in the browser. So if I just open up here this, you can see there's a long list, and now I can do these typical operations. So for example, if I only want to get the first 5 responses, then I can just here enter this OData property top 5, and I only get 5 properties back. So the nice thing is that I can easily do the same thing here from Power Automate. So if I go to the advanced option, I can just say, look, I only want the top 5 entries. If I click on save and test the service again, I now only get 5 entries back. So you can see it's very easy to interact. Now, especially the top functionality, the skip, these are functionalities that can be very helpful if I want to browse or navigate through these numbers. Let's say I have a Power App and I want to have the first 5 entries only returned, or maybe the first 100 entries only returned, and then I want to go to the next page and the next page and the next page. Then these top and skip functionalities can be very helpful. Another really helpful thing is the filtering functionalities. So again, OData supports this very similar like in a SQL query. I can just say $filter, and I can say first name. So you can see here there's the first name, and I can say the first name should be equal to, let's do this here, to Elaine. So if I do this in OData, then I get only Elaine back. So perfect, then I can do the very same thing again in Power Automate. So we can see here there's this filter property, and if I now just say the same thing, first name equals Elaine. If I save this, test the service, then I only get 1 property back, and that is our Elaine. I hope this introduction on using OData with Power Platform was helpful. Stay tuned for upcoming videos on Power Platform and SAP OData here on the SAP on Azure YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching.